guys, welcome to my live stream. Thank you so much for coming. As you can see, I am currently in the hospital. I'm all wired for sound. I'm having an EEG. I've been having these blackouts, and they don't know if it's seizure activity or not. The last EEG I had some abnormalities, so now they're doing a longer EEG, which is why I have all this. But the show must go on. We last left off in chapter 23 after Destiny's hallucinations convinced her that she could fly, and she managed to climb up the boys' little house and then up the slanting top of the roof where no one could hand her a laminated card or restrain her, and knowing that if she fell, she would just fly. It gave her an overwhelming sense of power until the police, fire department, and ambulance showed up, and Nate, a staff from the boys' house, sweet-talked her to slide down the roof a little bit. He then grabbed her by the leg, carried her to the fire escape, and put her in the waiting ambulance. When crisis finally found Destiny a bed in the hospital, her parents were called and told they could drive her down to the hospital to sign her in the morning. We will start here in Bonnie, Destiny's mom's perspective. I just want to wait a moment and see if some more people will come, because we don't really have anyone watching right now. I don't see anyone watching right now. Let's just give it a chance and see if anyone shows up. I'll just keep going, I guess. Bonnie. At the hospital, I signed all the necessary paperwork and then went into Destiny's room. I gave her a big hug as usual. As usual, she felt so fragile in my arms. She looked shaken, even more so than usual. What is it? I asked her. I'm scared they're going to kick me out of the Jackson Center because of what happened. Her voice shook as she explained her worry. I know they've kicked kids out before. I spoke with them last night, I reassured her. They said nothing about kicking you out. I promise. From the look on Destiny's face, I could tell that she wasn't sure she believed me. Why don't you call them later? You can talk to staff or Eliza, and they can tell you themselves, I suggested. I guess so, Destiny hesitantly agreed. How is it here? I asked her. It's an all-girls unit, she told me. I have my own room, so that's good. The girl across the hall from me is on safety precautions because she swallowed a popsicle stick. A popsicle stick? I asked. Yeah, apparently she swallowed the entire thing and had to go to the emergency room. What are safety precautions? I asked. She's on SP1, which is basically like a 1-to-1, like special status, Dustin explained to me. What are you on? I asked her. I'm on red level for today, and if I do everything I'm supposed to and stay safe, they'll bring me up to yellow level tomorrow. Once I'm on yellow level, I can have pens or pencils to write with, and when I get to green level, then I get to go to the cafeteria for meals, Destiny informed me. What exactly are you planning on getting at the cafeteria for meals? I gave a bemused smile. Maybe Crystal Light or unsweetened iced tea, I guessed. I laughed. Poor Destiny was always looking for sugar-free clear liquids to sip on. J-tube feeds don't really fill you up, the way G-tube feeds do. So she was always wanted something to put in her mouth. Hang on, guys. I'm just turning up my volume. So she always wanted something to put in her mouth. Well, I hope you get your green level soon, I told her. It never ceased to amaze me how many different kinds of complex protocols hospitals and treatment centers could come up with. Sometimes it reminded me of a complicated video game. I didn't bring up the events the night before the entire time I was there for the visit. All I really knew was what Sam G had told me. He said that she had been standing on a roof 3 stories up and tried to jump off. What I wanted was Denny's version of the story, but I figured she would tell it to me when she was ready. A few hours after I'd arrived back home from the hospital, I got a call from the psychiatrist that would be taking care of Destiny. I understand that Destiny has been in the hospital very often, she began. Yeah, we hoped that going to the Jackson Center would help that, but she still seems to be struggling a lot, I explained. Hang on 1 second, guys. I don't understand why I don't have anyone here, so I'm gonna try and make sure I'm connected to the internet. Hang on, guys. Hold on. I'm trying to reconnect to the internet. There's something wrong with this connection. Okay, I think we're good. Alright, I think we're good, guys. Let me just go back here. I understand that Destiny has been in the hospital very often, she began. Yeah, we hoped that going to the Jackson Center would help that, but she still seems to be struggling a lot, I explained. I think we might want to try another med change, she suggested. The fact that she climbed up on a roof and almost jumped off is very serious. I know, I sighed heavily in agreement. I'm wondering if she was having some symptoms of mania. It might be that her trileptal is not the right medication for her. I would like to try her on a medication called lithium, if that's all right with you, the psychiatrist suggested. Are there any serious side effects that I should know about? I questioned cautiously. Everything has side effects. The biggest risk with lithium is kidney issues, but we'll monitor her levels closely, the psychiatrist informed me. Okay, I agreed. We had to do something. If we didn't, and Destiny kept going on the path she was on, we were going to lose her forever. I went up to visit Destiny again the next day. She didn't look as bad as she had the day before, but she still had a pained expression in her eyes. Did you talk to the psychiatrist? I asked her. Yeah, she started me on a new med, Destiny said. How were things yesterday after I left? I asked her. Well, this hospital is different from other ones I've been to because it's all girls, Destiny said. Why is that so different? I asked. Because there's a lot of drama all the time. Yesterday, after you left, one girl called the crisis hotline. She used the phone in the hall and said that she was on a bridge and thinking of jumping off it. All the other girls gathered around her giggling, but they traced the call. Then they phoned the nurse's station to tell them what was happening. The girl lost her phone privileges for the rest of the day. Destiny giggled a little bit. I tried not to laugh because I didn't want to condone that sort of behavior, but it was sort of funny. How's the girl who swallowed the popsicle stick? I asked her. She's still on SP1. Every time they're about to take her off, she does something else, like scratching her arm with a broken fork. I think she likes the attention, Destiny told me. Sounds like it, I agreed. Some of the girls here don't ever want to leave, Destiny explained to me. I don't get it. Maybe they feel safe here, I suggested. Destiny wrinkled up her face. Maybe, she said skeptically. It's the opposite for me. How long am I going to be here anyway? I don't know, honey, I told her. That's up to the psychiatrist here and Eliza. I spoke to Destiny at least once a day on the phone. Either she called me or I called her. She told me about the cast of characters at the hospital. I told her she could write a book about it. There's this one staff named Bill, but all the girls call him Grandpa. He's older and walks a little bit hunched over. He's not very nice, though. Not very grandfatherly at all. I asked him for a cup of water one night, and he cut me off and said no before I even finished asking. The other day, a new girl came. Her name is Shauna, and she thinks she's a witch and that she can cast spells. She hops around the day room like a deranged bunny rabbit, rolling her eyes back in her head, saying pretend spell words. Maggie lost all her clothes because she pulled the underwire out of her bra and used it to scratch herself. Staff took all her clothes and all her stuff out of her room. Now all she has is a hospital gown with snaps instead of string. This girl Jenna loves this song about being born in the boondocks. She sings it super loud all day long, but she doesn't even know all the words. Every day, Destiny filled me in on the craziness that was unfolding on the unit. Seriously, honey, you should write all this down. It really would make a good book, I encouraged her. Maybe, she agreed. The next time I visited, I brought her a notebook and a nice pen. This is for you, the bestseller you're going to write, I smiled at her. Over the next few days, Destiny seemed to be calmer and doing better. I didn't know if it was the med change or if it was being in the hospital where people were interacting with her instead of making her serve hours and hours of consequence time alone. No one at the hospital was handing her laminated cards saying they couldn't talk to her. She wasn't getting carried against her will to an empty room where she couldn't have Blinky, the one toy that soothed her the most. Whichever it was, she was improving. Unfortunately, then Eliza spoke to the social worker and decided that Destiny would have to write up a chain analysis. The tension returned to Destiny's face. She picked at her nails and looked down at the floor when she spoke to anyone. Just do your best, I told her. I don't know how to write about it. Everything happened in my head in such a strange way. Just write what you can and say I don't know what was happening here for other parts, I suggested to her. Destiny shrugged and looked away. After a couple of days of thought, Destiny was able to write out the chain analysis. I talked to Eliza, she told me. They said they'll definitely take me back. Her relief was so intense that I could feel it even over the phone. See, sweetie, it will all be okay. It will all fall into place. I reassured her and hoped that I believed my own words. I had to admit that I was nervous. The Jackson Center had been our last-ditch effort to save Destiny. The problem was that since she had started, this was her second hospitalization. What made it even worse was that she had only been there 3 months. In some ways, Destiny seemed to be getting sicker instead of better. I explained my fears to Eliza. It's a work in progress, Eliza explained to me. Ultimately, it's Destiny's fight. We can support her in the process, but we can't fight this for her. Neither Alan nor I knew what to do, except stick with the Jackson Center plan and hope that they could save Destiny. The problem was, they were in too much denial of her schizoaffective disorder diagnosis. They were intent on treating her for borderline personality disorder. This BPD treatment was going to kill her if we weren't careful. Destiny's fragile psyche couldn't handle it. Destiny stayed at the hospital for a little over a week and a half. When she called me the morning of her discharge, her excitement was bubbling over the phone. I'm getting set free, she excitedly told me. Becky is going to pick me up around 11. That's great, honey, I told her. I'll come up to the program and visit you in the afternoon then. Visiting Destiny at the Jackson Center was a lot more pleasant than visiting her at the hospital. Destiny threw herself into my arms as soon as I walked in the front door. We went up into her room and sat on a bed to play Uno and chat. I have so much consequence time, she sighed. I'm maxed out. Are they giving you any special ways to work off the time? I asked her. No, she shook her head. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Every time I try to sit still and serve the time, the voices get louder and I feel like I can't stay still. Over the next few months, Destiny was never able to completely work off her time or get off level 1. This meant that she couldn't go on home visits. This meant she couldn't cross the street to the other side of the program alone. This meant she couldn't even be on the second floor of the house alone. Destiny was often getting restrained, and she would get so violent with herself that she was covered in bruises. Once we got a call that she had ingested several large gulps of cleaning solution. This time around, they hadn't found her until after she'd gulped down at least 5 or 6 swallows. The nurse decided that she needed to go to the hospital. An ambulance was called. Destiny got IV fluids and a chest x-ray and was monitored for several hours. Luckily, no permanent damage was done. What happened, honey? I asked her. Destiny was waiting. Asked Destiny, wanting to get her side of the story. Staff had speculated to me that it was a ploy to get more attention, but I wanted to hear from her, from Destiny. It was the bad man, Destiny explained to me. He wanted me to drink it, and I couldn't find any good reason not to. This isn't the life I want to be living anyway. Are you feeling depressed? I asked her. Yes, and hopeless, Destiny admitted. Have you told Eliza about that? I questioned. Yeah, but I'll tell her again, Destiny promised me. You need to be honest about your feelings to get the right kind of help. I know, but 75% of the time when I'm honest, people don't believe me anyway, she complained. Just keep trying, I urged her. Although I did feel sympathetic to her cause, I knew she was right. As the holiday season drew nearer, I realized that Destiny had now been at the Jackson Center for 6 months. The average length of stay there was 12 to 18 months. Destiny was almost halfway there. This scared me because Destiny was nowhere ready to come home. Give it time, Eliza assured Alan and I. I wanted to share Eliza's faith that Destiny was going to make it, but I got phone call after phone call that she had been restrained. Don't give up, I kept telling Destiny, but I think I was saying that to myself just as much. Occasionally, we had big meetings with CMC, Eliza, Jeff, the program director, a representative from the school department, and Jake, the head of the Jackson Center School. Destiny hated these meetings. Her whole body fidgeted uncomfortably through the whole torture session. She would keep her head down and refuse to look into anyone's eyes. Often during these meetings, I would see silent tears dripping down her face. How are you feeling right now? Jeff, the program director, asked her one time. Misunderstood and alone, Destiny whispered. That must be an awful way to feel, Jeff sympathized. Destiny nodded. You should know that you have the whole program here in your corner. All we want to do is help you. Destiny nodded again, but I could see in her eyes that she didn't believe this. I didn't blame her. So far, all they had done was make her worse. One of Destiny's official treatment planning meetings was scheduled a few weeks before the holidays. I hate those meetings, Mom, Destiny kept complaining to me. I know, I gently rubbed her back. It will just be an hour or so, and then it will be all done, and you won't have another one for another 3 months. Destiny just nodded again. She had stopped asking about when she could come home for good. She had even stopped asking about when she could come home for a visit, or even go off grounds. Eliza and the house staff insisted that most of her behaviors were just cries for attention, but I wasn't so sure. There was a certain look in her eye that told me otherwise. The whole way she held herself, and the hurt in the constant whisper of her voice told me otherwise. I was scared for her. I wish I were dead, Mom, she told me more than once. I can't do this much longer. Hang in, I kept telling her. Please, just keep hanging in. We'll help you. As the treatment planning meeting grew closer, I couldn't stop thinking about how long it had been since we had been able to take Destiny off the program's grounds. She wasn't even allowed to be on the second floor of the house without a staff. Destiny's world had shrunk to the set of 5 houses on the corner of Oak Street. Think about all the fun stuff we can do once you get back on level 2, I kept reminding Destiny. We can go to the beach, you can come home on a home visit, we can go bowling, we can play mini golf. Destiny nodded, but her eyes were glazed and far away. That is the end of chapter 24 of Saving Destiny. What did you guys think of it? Any opinions? Hey Kathy, nice to see you. It's okay that you are late. Any opinions, guys, before I close up? Anything anyone thought of this story? This chapter? What do you think, Kathy? Well, if no one has any opinions, I guess I'll close up now. No opinions? No thoughts, no questions, no nothing? Okay, well, I'll end this right now. I hope you guys enjoyed chapter 4 of Saving Destiny. Coming up next is chapter 24 of Was I Ever Normal? That will be in another 2 weeks. I can't remember the exact date. It's November 20-something. Hope to see you guys all there. Glad you enjoyed Saving Destiny chapter 24. And look forward to seeing you next time. Don't forget to check out Chronically Alive version 2.0 at www.chronicallyalive.org, which is different from my old site, which was chronicallyalive.net. Hope you guys enjoy it. Look forward to seeing you all there. Oh, thanks, Kathy. I'm so glad you love my lives. That's awesome. Glad you like this chapter. Really glad. Alright, I'll end right here.